Just let me know your thoughts on Jake going 6 rounds with AJ.
You know, the fact that he did that, it was good because, you know, we didn't think it was going to go 6 rounds.
Lennox Lewis had anticipated it long before the opening bell. And in Miami, his foresight was proven with unforgiving clarity. This wasn't another sideshow built on online hype. It was a stark demonstration of what happens when internet notoriety collides with true heavyweight pedigree. As fans speculated whether Jake Paul's rebellious momentum could withstand the force of a former unified champion, Lewis watched from ringside with quiet certainty. By the 6th round, there was no room left for debate. The outcome wasn't shocking, it was decisive, a harsh lesson delivered to a fighter who finally stepped beyond the limits of spectacle and into the reality of elite boxing.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. What do you think when I heard about the fight? I said, they're going to actually fight? I didn't believe it. But what we got to do is say, Jake Paul really bit off a lot this time. He's serious. He wants to go up against a true heavyweight, and that's Anthony Joshua. So he's up against a heavyweight. How's he gonna adopt? How's he gonna feel? How's he gonna fight when he gets in there? I don't see him fighting. I see him looking to survive in the fight. He's gonna feel the uppercut. He's gonna feel the jab. He's gonna feel the right hand. How's he gonna react? I don't know. We're gonna have to see how he's gonna react.
When Lennox Lewis first heard the matchup being discussed, he questioned whether it was even legitimate. The former heavyweight great was outspoken from the start, saying he couldn't believe Jake Paul would consider facing someone with Anthony Joshua's size and credentials. Lewis was blunt in his assessment, likening Joshua to a finely tuned supercar while casting Paul as an everyday vehicle by comparison. He warned that the moment Joshua's power connected, the contest would shift from competition to survival. In Lewis's view, this was the clearest example yet of Paul taking on more than he was prepared for, and his analysis of the turning point proved to be as unforgiving as the finish itself.
My mom wanted me not to fight Anthony Joshua. I should have listened to my mom. My dad pushed me to this now. I'm alone in the hospital, got to eat liquid now. Anthony Joshua be ready for it.
A major storyline heading into the fight was Joshua's lengthy 15-month absence from competition. Many critics predicted ring rust, and during the opening rounds, that concern seemed justified. Joshua fought cautiously, almost overly deliberate, as he worked to lock in his timing against a smaller, quicker opponent. But as Lennox Lewis explained, this wasn't hesitation. It was calculation. Joshua was methodically tracking an opponent who spent much of the fight circling and avoiding engagement. Those early rounds served as a reset, allowing Joshua to settle in and sharpen his rhythm, effectively using one of boxing's biggest pay-per-view draws as little more than a live tune-up.
Job, we fight. We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is, and I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tamed. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your job. It wasn't personal.
From the opening moments, Jake Paul's game plan was obvious. Stay mobile at all costs. He spent the first few rounds circling the edges of the ring, trying to irritate Joshua and remain safely outside the range of that dangerous right hand. Lennox Lewis pointed out that this kind of constant movement demands a huge amount of energy, particularly for someone unaccustomed to the pace and pressure of a heavyweight fight. While Paul played to the crowd, taunting Joshua after near misses, he was quietly draining his own reserves, though his evasiveness made the early rounds look competitive. In reality, it was pushing him closer to an unavoidable breakdown.
The game plan from both guys from round one. Jake was very mobile. I mean, he had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not looking to engage in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ. And people are going to say Jake ran from AJ. And you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. He had to be on his bike. So yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ didn't assert himself earlier. Now, again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't want to engage in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right hand that AJ landed in the first round that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake the entirety of the fight.
By the fifth round, Paul had reached the end of his escape route. Even the referee appeared frustrated, reminding both fighters that the crowd hadn't come to watch a foot race and urging them to engage. That was the moment heavyweight reality caught up. As Lewis observed, Paul's movement faded, and instead of circling, he began standing still, an invitation no puncher like Joshua needs. A crushing left hook in the fifth visibly shook him, and from that point on, the momentum was gone. The sixth round barely got underway before it was over. Less than 2 minutes in, a thunderous straight right hand dropped Paul to the canvas for good. The showmanship disappeared, the taunts ended, and the referee stepped in to finally bring the fight an illusion to a close.
Sixth round, you saw AJ come alive. He saw a wounded animal and finally went in for the kill. And let me tell you something. Jake took some fucking hard KO punches in this fight. The first one in the first round, he got hit with a shovel hook from the left side. He got hit with an uppercut at one point. It's a heavyweight fight. I'm not going to congratulate Jake for, getting beat up, but I am going to congratulate his heart for being able to take those punches and not quit on himself, at least to the point of being like, I'm just going to stay on the ground here and call it an evening. He didn't do that. He got up multiple times. He got dropped multiple times. Again, kind of the clinch weird thing, but he would get hit with a punch and, look to clinch at AJ and just kind of fall by the wayside. That happened twice in the fifth round. And then in the sixth, the levee broke. He finally got Jake into the corner, threw a flurry, and then came across when AJ was like going around the side with the right hand and trying to chop over the top, and then, big looping shots that he was missing early on because Jake was moving his head and doing some good things defensively. Fair play to him. He was protecting himself very well early on. In the sixth round, his gas tank was done. The legs were not there. He had already been hurt a bunch from AJ, and AJ went to the body with the jab and chopped a right hand over, and it hit Jake, and he snapped his head, collapsed to the canvas. That's it, and that's all. It was so devastating that Jake turned around and looked into the crowd and went, oh, fuck. That's the realization. That is reality.
The damage from the finishing shot was severe. Although Jake tried to project toughness during his post-fight interview, cameras caught him repeatedly spitting blood into a towel. It later emerged that he had sustained a double fracture to his jaw, a diagnosis he eventually confirmed by sharing X-ray images online. The Florida Athletic Commission acted quickly, issuing an automatic 60-day medical suspension. Reports also circulated that Paul was taken to hospital shortly after leaving the arena, underscoring the reality that heavyweight power isn't something you can treat lightly. This wasn't just a defeat. It was a harsh lesson in the real consequences of stepping into the ring with elite-level force.
And that's the problem with the direction he's been going in, is he puts on big fights, but not competitive fights. Fighting Chavez Jr., that was an easy win. Nate Diaz, an easy win. Mike Tyson, an easy win. Anthony Joshua, not competitive for the opposite reason. He's completely not expected to win, and it wasn't competitive. He stacks the chips too heavily either way, and because of that, we never actually get to find out how good Jake is. And part of that, I think, is maybe deliberate, because then we never know, and the storyline can go anywhere. And while you don't know really how good he is, there's always another dream to sell, and it's almost genius level promoting. It really is. But for his own sake, you're getting into your late 20s now, your physical prime, you're only going to ever find out how good you really are by getting in there with people who are of the level that you claim you're at the right weight class. You are not a cruiserweight. You've got a layer of, body fat on you. You can't be doing that in boxing. If you're a serious boxer, you don't get in there looking like Jake Paul looks. You look shredded. And that's why really he's a light heavyweight. But fuck it. If you want to be cruiserweight, be a cruiserweight. Regardless, just fight people who are now ranked, and let's find out where the fuck he is. Because surely, these money grab Tyson fight, the AJ fight, he's packed that bank chock full. And credit to to him. Even if he has hustled people or whatever the fuck, credit to him. One of the best promoters in boxing history, actually. I really do believe that. Because even when fights seem ridiculous, he always gets people to tune in. And he's done great things with Netflix. And hopefully that opens doors up for other boxers, and he's certainly opened a lot of doors up for female boxers. So again, credit to him for that. But let's find out how good you really are now. Because I just don't want any more gimmick fights. I just want the real fuck.
No high-profile fight seemed complete without a financial twist, and this one delivered in dramatic fashion. The so-called Drake curse resurfaced yet again after the music star reportedly wagered around $200,000 on Jake Paul to score the upset, a bet that would have paid out more than $1.6 million. Instead, the stake vanished the moment Paul was dropped. Social media wasted no time piling on, with fans joking that Drake's support sealed Paul's fate before the opening bell. It's become a familiar punchline in fight circles. When Drake puts his money behind you, trouble often follows.
Jake Paul didn't get in there to win last night. He got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is. He's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers. They should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy out and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg. So he was never in any danger. He's always going to get hit back. I mean, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him. It was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on. I'd probably stay up and watch that.
The most shocking revelation of the night didn't come from the action in the ring at all. During the live broadcast, Lennox Lewis and Eddie Hearn let slip information that instantly sent shockwaves through the boxing world. According to Lewis, the bout with Jake Paul was never the end goal. It was a final tune-up before something much bigger. He suggested that agreements are already in place for a blockbuster showdown between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in 2026. In that context, the Miami event was simply Joshua sharpening his tools before stepping into a legacy-defining clash with the Gypsy King. In hindsight, Jake Paul was never the centerpiece of the story, just a brief obstacle on the path toward what could become the biggest fight in British boxing history.
And I've just been sent a video of Anthony Joshua talking about if he kills somebody, he kills somebody in a boxing ring. I think, you know what? He's a little bit long in the tooth to be talking shite like that. He's 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy B. And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please, barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. I am him, the man. You're a classless loser coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. You big bum, useless tosser. Get up, and I can't wait if Jake Paul knocks your spark out, you big bum.
In the end, the Miami bout served as a sobering moment for influencer boxing as a whole. Jake Paul showed he has the courage to last 6 rounds against a true heavyweight. But the fight also exposed a gap that popularity and online reach can't close. Between the serious injury, the costly bets that unraveled, and the looming revelation of a Joshua Fury showdown, the takeaway was unmistakable. Pretending to belong at the highest level has consequences, and the phase of treating boxing like a side project may be nearing a harsh and final reckoning.
What did I just watch? All right? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight. I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, you know what, he took this challenge. You know, even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. I was hoping, you know, you're going to get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. Guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds. Literally just he was doing football jukes. You guys watched that fight? Ring was big. I made a freaking point about that ring being big. And he used it to his advantage in terms of survival in every way he could. I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. Then notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like he just hugged Anthony Joshua and then like would go down and the referee would call it a slip and give him a break. And like he would just kill time that way. Then he was completely angling off. He was completely blading his shoulder off completely to the point where he's so bladed off that he can't even punch. He was just trying to make himself as small of a target as possible. And Anthony Joshua, people are going to say, oh, why didn't Anthony Joshua catch up to him? Because Anthony Joshua never had fast feet to begin with. And Anthony Joshua, honestly, should have probably cut off the ring a little bit better. That's my one critique of Joshua. He probably could have cut off the ring a little bit better. Joshua's always never really had the best feet, but in terms of cutting off the ring, could have at least done that. But honestly, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy ran for his life in a 22 by 22 foot ring. That ring was huge. I can't believe what I just watched, guys. I'm seriously like, dude, that's it. This was AJ's chance. Could have went out on his shield and his chance to say, yeah, get the respect of the boxing community. This was the one that could have got him the respect of the boxing community. This was the one. He came out with all this rap crap and then doing the Hulkamania crap and all that other stuff and all that stuff. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, is he that calm or is he literally just setting up his own demise? I don't know. AJ came out to the ring really serious, which would you expect? And then, I mean, he never fought. Jake never fought. Like, he never fought the whole fight.
That's going to do it for today's video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future uploads. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.